The lockdown uncovered my cheating boyfriend and saved me from what I thought was the perfect relationship. IF24 met my now ex-M32 in December 2017, we started sleeping together in April 2018. To make a long story short, we had a 1 year and some months long don't ask don't tell kind of relationship. He is good looking, tall, very charming, funny and not at all possessive, which I really liked. We had insane time, like the type you feel sore the next day but still want more of. And we would be at it for hours and hours. In September 2018 we grew apart but he out of the blue asked me to take care of his dog for him, a 9-month-old French bulldog, so we get back in touch. In November he signs my lease for me. That was a really big deal, and in June 2019, following a brief breakup due to neither of us having enough time, we get back in touch and became official. He says he loves me. I say it back. He gives me the keys to his place and I gave him the keys to mine. We meet each other's friends and families, etc., etc. In 2019 he goes to Rio de Janeiro with me to spend the holidays with my family. More info: even though we were in a serious relationship, we were really light with each other. Which I loved because I have a hectic schedule and so does he. I'm a second-year med student and an English teacher, Hessen on-field camera assistant for a sports channel, so he travels a lot for a couple of days at a time. Everything was a pretty little fairy tale. He was my first actual orgasm, sorry if that's TMI. He made me laugh, and even though we didn't have that much time together, when we did it was quality time. I felt like I actually found someone I clicked with. There were a few red flags I chose to ignore. Almost all weekends I was alone. I always had to adapt to his timetable. Fights or disagreements always ended in ducking, not actually talking over the problem. He always threatened to take the dog when we fought. I'm not exaggerating when I say always. In past relationships I was quite insecure and tad possessive. But with him it was different. We binged 24/7 and I felt like we understood each other. He treated me like a princess, not money-wise lol. We always split things 50-50, which I liked, and his confidence made me feel really secure and confident. In December 2019 I took him to Rio to spend the holidays with my family. I'm from Brazil but we live in Argentina. In January we returned and things were fine, but in the last week things went downhill. He started working a lot, so did I. Plus I had 2 very important finals, so we had very little time together, which basically meant we were having less time, which was very important, definitely too important in our relationship. He started treating me like crap, which he never did. We used to send a lot of nudes to each other. He started accusing me that I probably sent them to other guys, raised eyebrow, rolling eyes face, and making jokes that I used to be hotter. Poop. He was distant and with lower time drive than usual. I talked to him and he said he was just tired due to work and the hot weather. Summers in Argentina are brutal. My naive self chose to believe him, but when things didn't get any better I talked to him again. Same excuse. I was timely frustrated and upset, but still tried to believe and understand him. Then on the 24th of February something happened. I asked if I could message my friend through his phone. I never look through his phone and he doesn't look through mine either, but when I have finals I delete all social media including WhatsApp to arrange something with a classmate, and before handing me the phone he dealt it and blocked someone's chat in front of me. I saw the photo and her name. I asked why he did that and he answered screaming, "Stop being crazy. You are an ass, why are you even looking at my phone?" I was shocked because even though he's temperamental he never ever reacts like that. Not with me. So I just shut up and decided for the sake of my finals I'd ignore it. But it crushed me. Since the beginning of February 2020 things hadn't been okay, and I really wasn't okay after seeing he deleted messages and was acting weird. Since he refused to talk about it, for my own sanity I decided to break up for good, so on March 7th he came over after a 4-day trip and I talked to him. He said no to the breakup. He said we were both just busy and stressed and that he loved me and we could fix things. I was happy. I thought he would want to break up, so I decided to try. But things didn't change. He did start treating me all mushy-gushy, but there was just something off. So here's where I go psycho. Sweating face. Yes, you can judge me. I look up the girl on Instagram, decided I'll message her. I find her and as soon as I see her I feel a tad better. There is no way he could be having anything with this girl. She was short, somewhat chubby and square. Not super ugly, but above all a hardcore feminist. All of these he openly really dislikes. On the 16th of March, the day before the begging of COVID-19 lockdown, I msg'd her from an anonymous account saying I was his ex and that all I wanted was closure. I did this because I wasn't 100% he had cheated and I was scared she would tell him and he'd react badly. She answers right away saying they never had anything, that she met him and his friend at a club she works at and that they exchanged numbers so they could get in free next time they went. Odd, but he didn't cheat. Either way, I wasn't okay with that news. On that same day he tells me to go spend the quarantine with him. I left work and decided to go straight to his house since it was late. The next day I'd return home to get the dog and my things. We had a very serious discussion that night. I felt guilty about writing the girl and I wanted to tell him but I didn't. What I did tell him was that I needed space to think about whether what we had was really what I wanted, and that we should take advantage of the quarantine to do so. He held me and told me that he wanted me. That he was sorry he had been distant but that we were okay and I just needed to breathe. I had to work the next day in the morning online and he told me use his computer and go home later. The next day I was in the living room and he was in the bedroom. While I'm delivering an online class with several students, the unimaginable happens. He starts sexting a girl. I couldn't believe it at first. I thought it was a joke. I opened the window of what I think was Messenger and there were at least 3 other chats with other women, one of them on the 8th of March. I felt sick and started shaking. I instantly thought it'd end the class and confront him. Then all of a sudden he came out of the room. I froze. He kissed my forehead and whispers in my ear that he wants to duck me when I'm done working. That's when I realized that confronting him would be pointless. He was a pathological liar and wanted everything. The girlfriend and to duck side chicks. So I delivered 3 more hours of class and when I was done and while he was in the shower I collected everything that was mine in the apartment, wrote a note, talked to our friend in common to get the dog, coward, and left. I got home and showered and soon after that he arrived asking me with the coldest face on what he had done. I told him I knew he had lied and cheated on me. He swore on the dog's life he hadn't. This went on for an hour. He fake cried. Held on to my legs, said he would die, etc. I was shocked. He was the super proud cold type. Never in a gazillion years did I think he'd have this reaction. He kept on insisting he didn't know what he had done to deserve this, so I finally said I had seen the MSGs and I wanted him and our dog out of my house. He showed me the message and it's true there was nothing that showed they had slept together, but I was firm and still said I didn't want someone who thought that was okay. He finally left. Part 3, March 17, 2020, I saw estimates with at least 3 other women and dumped him. Over the course of 10 days he tried getting back together, pleaded he knew he had slipped, still claiming he hadn't actually cheated and that he needed me, that I had changed his life and that he could change for me, etc., etc. He wrote me emails, made a very crappy slideshow with photos of our dog saying, "Mom, don't abandon me." This was crazy because, as I said before, I was sure he'd just say screw it and move on. His best friend wrote me asking me to please reconsider the breakup, and I got so close to doing so because I missed him and my dog, and I started thinking that what he did wasn't that bad. Wrong. Lucky for me, the unimaginable happened again. The girl I had written on Instagram 1 week before saying she had nothing with him wrote me the following: "Hey, I have to tell you that I lied to you about X. You were right all along about him. Has not worth a single tear. I'm very embarrassed I chose to believe a man over a woman. I'm sorry." She later went on to showing me that they had been talking and that he slept with her a week after Valentine's Day, sweating face, and then around the 24th of February he blocked her. She got angry and talked to him on Instagram. He has no photos with me. Maybe this was a red flag too, but to me it was okay since he never uploads photos, and he said he felt vulnerable with her and that's why I avoided talking to her, and that was that. Then on the 16th of March she showed him my message and he said he hadn't been in a relationship in years, so he had no idea who it could be. I was angry she had lied to me in the first place. So when she told me the truth and started asking me some questions, all I did was send her a picture of the both of us and said I was with him for 2 years. We had a dog which lived and was cared for by me, and he just spent the holidays with my family after that. Even though she continued the conversation, I didn't read it and deleted the account. His best friend kept on insisting I give him another chance, so I sent her the screenshot. I covered the girl's photo and name showing her that he had cheated on me and asked her and him to leave me alone. Anyway, on the 17th of April it was his birthday and 1 month since I left him. I felt like writing him, but instead I decided to write the girl, thanking her. I explained our story and thanked her for having confessed, and I apologized for not having done so before. She never answered. And that bloody sucked. Conclusion: I just wanted to tell any of you who are struggling in a relationship to please be honest, obviously to others but mainly to yourself. Stop and think if you are actually happy. Don't think about the ifs. Nothing is as we think it is or will be. Everyone deserves actual happiness and respect. Nowadays it's hard to find someone you click with. And it's hard to give in to love. The colder you are the better, and honestly that's not okay. I know this is so cliche, but your happiness depends on you, no matter how good they make you feel. If your well-being depends on how they are treating you, there is already something wrong. It's about being true to what you actually want and need. Try to figure that out, and once you do, don't settle for less. If it's free time with multiple people, a serious relationship, or even no time at all, then so be it, but be honest with yourself about what it is. It's not easy. I'm still feeling like it. I still miss my dog, and even though I hate to admit it, I miss who I thought my boyfriend was. But at the end of the day, I truly am more at peace alone than when we were together. And eventually I will be happy again. Or so I hope. Embarrassed smiley face. We were considering moving in together at the end of my lease in October this year. I ended up having to tell my family to block him cause he stayed messaging them asking about me. I'm honestly very lucky I found out how and when I did. Deep down he was toxic and always needed constant attention, and I was lonely. Neither of us were truly happy, but instead of owning up to it, we both lied and settled for what we thought wanted and got hurt. Avoid doing the same. Thanks to whoever read everything, smiley face. If any of you have similar experiences or post-cheating breakup recovery stories, I would really like to read them.